Vulnerable people with severe medical conditions are missing out on state-funded care they are legally entitled to after leaving hospital.
The Parliamentary and Health Service Ombudsman investigated nearly 500 complaints about the funding in 2018. Campaigners say the figures highlight an attempt by health officials to cut spending on the care. Noel Phillips has this report.
83-year-old Joyce Bryant fell ill 2 years ago with viral encephalitis, which left her with a substantial brain injury. She's now bedridden and, according to her family, should be receiving fully funded NHS care.
She hasn't got long left. And you hear numerous cases where by the time the funding comes through, it's just too late.
As part of NHS...
Joyce's family applied for continuing healthcare, which is a government scheme funded by the NHS which covers the cost of nursing for people with complex medical conditions. Those who apply are judged according to national criteria guidelines, one of which is unpredictable behaviour.
As well as yours. Gently, Mum.
But despite providing clinical documents and this video showing Joyce's unpredictable and aggressive behaviour, West Hampshire Clinical Commissioning Group turned her down for fully funded care.
To come back and say that her behaviour was not unpredictable, I can't understand their rationale to the situation, but unfortunately it's what's happening.
Joyce's husband Pete is in the early stages of dementia and has had to spend most of their savings on her 24/7 care needs, which he says should be provided by the NHS.
We were always together, weren't we? Always together, always going out together. But now, no chance of it at all.
West Hampshire Clinical Commissioning Group has told us a new application for funding for Joyce can be made at any time, and they would be happy to provide support.
There are thousands of people who have been forced to sell their houses to pay for the care in circumstances when they perhaps ought not to have had to do so. The problem is that a lot of people don't know of the existence of this funding, and even those who do know about it have difficulty in navigating the complexities of the system.
Here in Wiltshire, the percentage of people getting access to continuing healthcare funding is amongst the lowest in the country. John Morrison, who has cerebral palsy, had his funding withdrawn in 2009 because he no longer met the criteria for continuing healthcare, despite his condition remaining the same.
Fighting for John has nearly broken me. Watching somebody disappear when you know that for a simple amount of money it can be stopped.
After a 10-year battle with Wiltshire Clinical Commissioning Group, in the last week, the family has now had their funding restored.
Very happy.
Campaigners say, though, the problem with continuing healthcare comes down to NHS funding cuts. But NHS England has told us it is for clinical commissioning groups to manage assessments based on demands in their area, and that there is still potential to make the process more efficient for patients. Noel Phillips, BBC News.
And you can see more on that story on the Victoria Derbyshire programme from 10 o'clock on BBC Two, and it's also on the BBC News channel this morning.
Yeah, we have the weather in just a moment.